Right now, the Middle East is on fire. The United States, Israel, and Iran are locked in a conflict that could reshape the world. But how did this war actually start, and what does Trump really want? In March 2026, the conflict escalated dramatically. Israel launched massive airstrikes deep inside Iran. The United States backed the operation militarily. Iran responded with missile attacks across Israel and the region. Thousands killed or injured in strikes. Oil routes disrupted. Global markets shaken. Trump claims victory, but war still ongoing. This war officially began on February 28th. The United States and Israel launched a massive joint attack on Iran. Nearly 900 strikes in 12 hours. They targeted Iran's military, missiles, and leadership. Iran's top leadership was hit, triggering immediate retaliation. To understand this war, we need to go back decades. The Iran versus Israel conflict has existed since 1979. Iran opposes Israel's existence. Israel sees Iran as an existential threat. Israel and U.S. fear Iran developing nuclear weapons. Iran says its program is peaceful. Iran supports groups like Hezbollah. Israel targets Iranian influence across the Middle East. Talks between U.S. and Iran collapsed before war began. Donald Trump played a central role in this war, but his strategy has been controversial and constantly changing. Trump's main goals: destroy Iran's military, stop nuclear development, reduce Iran's regional power. More aggressive ideas: called for unconditional surrender, suggested regime change in Iran. Reality: mixed signals. Sometimes war, sometimes negotiation. Claims talks are happening. Iran Denise Italiano. Israel's objectives are even more aggressive. Eliminate Iran's nuclear capability. Destroy missile infrastructure. Possibly collapse Iran's government. Expand security zone in the region. Israel believes if Iran is not stopped now, it will become unstoppable. Iran's response is about survival and power. Defend its government. Retaliate against U.S. and Israel. Maintain regional influence. Iran actions: missile attacks on Israel, targeting U.S. bases in Gulf countries, threatening global oil routes. This war is not just about 3 countries. It's affecting the entire world. Oil crisis. Strait of Hormuz disrupted. 20% of global oil supply affected. Regional instability. Lebanon, Iraq, Gulf countries under threat. Risk of wider Middle East war. Economic shock. Oil prices rising. Global markets unstable. Risk of world war. If more countries join, escalation could be massive. As this conflict continues to unfold, its impact is no longer limited to the Middle East. It is rapidly turning into a global economic shock that is affecting every country, every market, and potentially every household. The first and most immediate impact is on oil. The Middle East controls a major portion of the world's energy supply. Any instability in this region sends shockwaves across global oil markets. With rising tensions and threats around key routes like the Strait of Hormuz, oil prices have already started climbing, and when oil becomes expensive, everything becomes expensive. Transportation costs rise, electricity becomes more costly, and the price of everyday goods starts increasing. This creates a chain reaction known as inflation. For developing countries, this is especially dangerous. Nations that rely heavily on imported fuel, including many in Asia and Africa, begin to struggle as their currencies weaken. Their import bills rise. Governments are forced to spend more just to keep basic systems running, while ordinary people face higher prices for food, fuel, and essential items. At the same time, global financial markets are showing clear signs of stress. Stock markets tend to react quickly to uncertainty, and war creates exactly that. Investors begin pulling money out of risky markets, shifting towards safer assets like gold or the US dollar. This movement can cause stock markets to fall, businesses to lose value, and economic growth to slow down. Another major impact is on global trade. The Middle East is also a critical hub for international shipping. If shipping routes become unsafe or restricted, goods take longer to move, costs increase, and supply chains get disrupted. This affects industries worldwide, from manufacturing to retail. Delays in shipments can lead to shortages, and shortages can push prices even higher. There is also a growing risk to regional economies. Countries close to the conflict zone may face direct threats to their infrastructure, investment, and stability. Tourism declines, foreign investment slows down, and business confidence drops. Even countries not directly involved in the conflict begin to feel the pressure as uncertainty spreads. If the conflict escalates further, the consequences could become even more serious. Prolonged war could lead to a global economic slowdown, or even a recession. Businesses may cut jobs, governments may struggle with rising debt, and millions of people could face financial hardship. And perhaps the most concerning part is uncertainty. Markets do not fear bad news as much as they fear the unknown. Right now, there is no clear timeline for how long this conflict will last or how far it will spread. That uncertainty alone is enough to keep the global economy under pressure. In the end, this is not just a geopolitical conflict. It is an economic event that could reshape global markets, shift power balances, and affect the daily lives of people around the world. The real question now is not just who will win this war, but how much the world will have to pay for it. Despite claims of victory, the war is far from over. No clear end strategy. US and Israel have different goals. Iran still fighting back. This conflict could last weeks or even years. So now you understand the real story behind the Israel-Iran news war. But the biggest question remains, is this the beginning of peace or the start of something much bigger?